Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating it's Wednesday, June 28th, 2017. In both the Lynn Life and the Jamie Body Mind, the authorized souls remain child souls from the deeper, denser dimensions and nature realm's guardians. However, right now we have a potential exception to that. There is a group of Vanavanov souls who do seem to actually be trying to figure out what to do on some of the bigger, more important questions of our times. And they say, look, we don't have a better place we can be that has exposure to the issues and is also a clear space where we can think. And if they are willing to do some of the work that is assigned to us, then this is an acceptable intersection of interests. So we're on a trial basis, not actively attempting to eject them. We'll see how it goes. Our intention is to get to what's actually going on and to what the situation actually calls for, so that we can do what is ours to do right now in all dimensions to manifest the divine plan, no matter what anyone else does or doesn't do, since that's what our soul contracts commit us to doing. But we also acknowledge that the reality is resources are limited, and the resources include grace, energy, finances, focus, assets, and time. And if too many of the resources are wasted without contributing to completion of our assignments, then there isn't an intersection of interests. And with that, there might be an intersection of interests, but it might not be worth the cost to the resources. And they're arguing with that. And so here's the thing. Pan is down there actually working day in and day out, week in and week out, month in and month out, year in and year out, to evacuate dead children who really want to get to God, to get them up through the choking, thick astral masses as high as he can. And our job, with regard to our teamwork efforts with Pan, is to pick it up from here and take it higher, and also keep some kind of vacuum or exhaust fan running where he is, so he can think clearly, because he's in a presence that's as physical, probably more physical than these, trying to live in a deeper, denser dimension. It's far worse for him. Wherever he is, it's so much worse. It's an active war zone, and when we get distracted, the hostilities seem to amp up. When we're able to stay with the work, the hostilities seem to be not an immediate crisis, and Pan can try to get some aid reliefs organized. Otherwise, it's just him pulling kids out of collapsed rubble.
That's true.
And what do I know? And I know that the assignments of many years say we've got to encourage those who are doing the work, reward good behavior, reward consistent effort.
That's true.
And if anybody is putting in consistent effort, it's Pan. A hawk just flew by right at eye level, right out those windows. A hawk just flew right by, right at eye level.
That's true.
He had to be just feet off the ground. What now? In order to manifest the divine plan, I'm going to start again, because that's not how we're supposed to start. I know that you keep trying you want me to skip over the fact that there are limited resources, but that's ignoring an inconvenient reality, and I'm not going to skip it.
That's true.
Given the reality of these limited resources of grace, energy, finances, focus, assets, and time, what now, in order to manifest the divine plan for all dimensions, since that's what our soul contracts commit us to doing? What now? And again, I see that ice pick shaped hole.
That's true.
Down behind and beneath where Pan is. And I know that if there is a way to get to light below, if there is any light below anymore, which I think would be a really important fact to know one way or the other,
yes,
then that's the way to get to it. Let's just vacuum up whatever is in that ice pick shaped hole behind pan and beneath pan, and see if we can get to light below. It would be good information to have.
That's true.
You know what this is like? This is like that case study that we were working through this morning from a student,
Yes.
where she was intending to do this, that, and the other, and absolutely nothing was happening. Just
Yes.
absolutely nothing. And these Vinavanovs are in that same way, very passively and not putting any of their own effort or energy to the wheel. They're just intending to see whether or not there's light below.
Yes,
Basically
true.
saying, you do it.
Yes, that's true.
Francis, this is not what we're talking about. This is not intersection of interest. This would go a long way toward explaining the profound exhaustion of yesterday,
That's
which
true.
made it extremely difficult for us to do the work of supporting somebody who's actually doing the work.
That's true.
Given the reality of these limited resources of grace, energy, focus, and time, not to mention the other resources that are also limited.
That's true.
But now, in order to manifest the divine plan for all dimensions, no matter what anyone else does or doesn't do, what now? I hear whistling
It's
wind,
very quiet and whistling wind.
lies streaming up, and to those even higher than that group of Vinavanovs say, these presences, this group of Vinavanovs seems to be intending to at least say, okay, we're starting to see that the existing so-called divine plan is really just a fiction. It's such a mishmash of lying projections
Yes.
of soul plans that include people who have absolutely no intention of living their soul plan, and the so-called divine plan still includes that soul plan as if those people are going to do it, when it quite clearly they aren't going to do it.
Yes, that's true.
And that this so-called divine plan literally even includes what somebody says, billions like the stars, billions of soul plans of presences whose bodies have died.
That's true.
The bodies are dead, and the soul plans of the dead are still being included in the divine plan as if that soul is in the denser dimension, not the lighter dimension to which he or she transitioned at the point of, quote, death.
Yes, that's true.
Then that's not a divine plan. That's a lying projection, probably with the intent to defraud, quote, investors, unquote, of grace and focus from above. And this group of Vinavanovs seems willing to consider, what if we were actually to put together an actual divine plan that accounts for only actual sentiences in the dimensions in which they're actually experiencing sentience, and with their actual awarenesses and actual intentions. What if we were to do that? And we like the idea of encouraging that philosophy because so far nobody else is doing it, and in their circles or sphere of influence, this seems to be really out there.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Actually, put together an actual divine plan?
Whoa.
Ooh, edgy.
Yeah, very edgy.
Very edgy. So I think it would be important to encourage that philosophy. And that's why we're trying to be supportive, but there comes a time when hypocrisy doesn't work. Hypocrisy works what do I know? I know that hypocrisy works for Charlie. He gives really excellent advice. I think one of the best
That's true.
at giving advice, but he's a total hypocrite. He doesn't practice what he preaches at all, not at all.
That's true.
And as soon as somebody develops enough skills that they can see what's really going on, it can change one's opinion of Charlie and render him ineffective as a teacher
That's true.
or as a motivational speaker. I do not find him motivational. I find his advice, what do I know? I do find his advice to sometimes be excellent and
That's true.
right on target. it's like an abusive parent. What is it like? It's like an abusive parent who says to his child, "You shouldn't hit the neighbor girl."
Yeah,
and it's true that we shouldn't hit the neighbor girl.
Yeah, that's true.
And then the dad, boom, bashes the kid.
Yeah, that's true.
Why do you ask? And also, do you want to know whether or not there's light below somewhere like there used to be? And what do I know? I know we haven't seen it in 3 years. It's been 3 years. Coming up on 3 years. I feel like it's been probably about 3 years since we've seen the light below.
That's true.
Directly, but then we could see it through the mist and fog, maybe, I don't know, not 2.5 years ago, but maybe, I don't know. I know it's been well over 2 years since we've been able to even see light coming up through the mist below, and that I miss it a lot. And
that's true.
That I would really like to know whether or not it's still there, just buried, or if the light has gone out.
That's true.
And I have deep interest in that question. So there's an intersection of interests on that question, but people have to actually be joining in the work.
Just got very quiet.
So feel free, just run cables. Skinny cables, super long, thin, skinny cables like spider webs, just run them right down through the backs of the energy body and through the back of the energy body where Pan is. Just keep on going down, down. There's someone in a denser dimension, denser than where Pan is living, who is willing to reach up for help, which is pretty much what everybody's doing, is just reaching up for help.
That's
Nobody's
true.
reaching up to help.
That's true.
People are just reaching up for help, and that's what you Vananovs are doing. Only you're reaching down for help. Aren't you embarrassed?
It looks like the Vanavanovs that were listening are backing away from the table and covering their mouths and noses so we don't hear them.
Well, we can tell what you're thinking, friends.
They're shaking their heads like, no, they can't, you can't, nobody can know what we're thinking.
Well, you're occupying, it does exactly work like that. You're occupying our energy body, and we can tell what you're thinking. It feels as though it's our thoughts, but we can tell exactly what you're thinking.
That's true.
And there's a lot of different thoughts going on. Part of that is because there are a lot of presences at the table. Butts in the chairs is what other presences have said about this phenomenon.
That's true.
But we can tell what you're thinking.
That's true.
Why do you ask? And what's more to the point, look up, look up, look up. Look up to the higher powers over you. They can tell what you're thinking. See? See those sad, nodding, knowing faces? They know what you're thinking.
I think they can see them.
Well, I can see them. We can see them.
I can see.
Hi, hi, hi. Look up, that's who's talking to you. You see those voices? Ah! Okay, are you once more confused? This is an echo point. This is an echo point. The people who are talking to you are way up there. Look up. See those hands? Yeah, that hand. Yeah, that little... it's making some really sharp motions, sharp, crisp motions. That's who's speaking.
The Vanavanovs aren't moving.
No, they seem to have turned to stone.
That's true.
This happens. All right. Well, we're not going to carry around stones.
No, that's true.
All right. So, soul transmutation protocols apply.
And they crumble like stone,
They
or like
crumble.
sand that's been glued together.
Yes. Sand that's been glued together. Like sand castles.
Yes, that's true.
Castles of sand. Well, good for them. At least they were willing to be edgy in their thinking, if not in their actions.
That's true.
All right. Meanwhile, we have Pan, who's still down there, working in really harsh conditions. And I'm not going to pretend that a hawk didn't fly right through this yard, right at ground level.
That's true.
Let's just pump up for Pan and blast up. It's like setting off... Somebody is setting off bombs way down there. Maybe the bombs are going off down there and just sucking up the the mushroom clouds
That's true.
straight up. As it comes up, suck it up and blast it up higher. It does look like mushroom clouds.
Yes, it does.
That's not good. Hey friends, are you curious about whether or not there's still light below? Is anybody curious enough about that to run some cables all the way from the kind of like the ice pick point of the hole all the way up to where you are, and see if we can open up cavern after cavern after cavern and get down to light below? Is anybody curious? I'm curious.
I'm curious.
But if nobody's going to take the top end, we're going to support Pan. He's working
That's true.
in an actual dense host life in a war zone with no other support. And that's wrong. So until somebody's doing it better, we'll support him. And if there's an intersection of interest, then we'll go for this question of light below in such a way as to support Pan in his work. And now we'll run cables. Whether or not they do, we can do it. It's fascinating that those Vanavinovs acknowledge that they're in the airspace and infesting the life forms, but they think that they should be able to do it without the life forms noticing how they're feeling.
That's true.
That's just wishful. Look, friends, if that's what you want to do, you're in the wrong place. Go someplace else.
That's true.
Please. And they acknowledge that they're in this place because they want to be able to think clearly, and this is a place that's trying to figure out what's going on. What now, given the reality of these limited resources? What now in order to manifest the divine plan for all dimensions, no matter what anyone else does or doesn't do? What now? Well, we just work to support Pan and close. And they shoot up to straight up the search for truth central axis to somebody who really wants to know whether or not there's light below.
Oh. Feel that deep space feeling.
I do. It's calming.
Very calm and quiet.
Okay. Well, let's go get our work done.